We are very happy to bring you all of our travel adventures and show you the great things we are able to experience around the world. But sometimes travel can go awry, and we also want you to learn from when we have not so great travel experiences.
We are now in the terminal. We have no idea where to go. We have had no guides. They just put us on a bus and sent us back to the terminal. Said you got to go to immigration. I'm not very happy. I'm not going to film Laurin because she's in worse spirits than I am. This is really stressful. I'm Matt.
I'm Laurin.
We are YAH Adventures.
Here we are aboard the MSC Fantasia.
Beautiful ship, I will say that.
It's a gorgeous ship, and we have a gorgeous cabin.
Big cabin.
Big cabin, a lot of room on the cabin.
We wanted to tell you a little bit about what it was like to cruise MSC. This is just the Fantasia, which is cruising up the South American East Coast.
We started in Buenos Aires, and then we went to Punta del Este in Uruguay.
And then we're at a sea day right now. Tomorrow we're going to be
Hibela in Brazil, and we'll finish in Rio de Janeiro.
Some very exciting ports, but we wanted to make you aware of what the experience was like because there might be some things you need to prepare for if you're going to take this same cruise. If you enjoy going on adventures with us and want to do us a solid, give us a big old thumbs up and share this video. We'd also really appreciate it if you click that big red subscribe button. And if you click that bell, you'll get notifications whenever we go on new adventures. Now back to the show.
We did have a bit of a rocky start with the cruise.
Very rocky start, yeah.
It showed on our cruise documents that we couldn't board until 8:59 p.m., which we thought was kind of late.
As you can see, our check-in opens at 20:59, which is 8:59 p.m. 9 p.m. the night before the cruise we could board. So.
And it strictly said, do not arrive before the boarding time.
Please do not arrive for check-in before the time indicated in the field.
So we didn't. We showed up at 9 p.m. at the terminal.
And nobody was there, really.
Went through security, followed the signs.
Followed the signs.
We did have to get on a bus that took us, we weren't sure where it was taking us, but it took us through a lot of things in the dark to get to the ship. It's actually a shipping yard that the cruise docks at there in Buenos Aires. So there are a lot of big shipping containers, some different machinery, and it's a bit of a drive from the terminal to the ship. So that's different than what we've experienced.
Much different. Yes. So something to be aware of. We found out later that we could have checked in as early as 11 a.m. the day before. So we missed a whole day of the cruise because of that. And that's why we're letting you know the mistake we made was we didn't call ahead to just double check on the boarding time, even though our documents said 8:59 p.m.
And just a place that MSC could improve is to communicate that a little better to its passengers.
So when we checked in on the cruise, they took our passports.
Yes.
And they told us that we had to come back the next morning at 9 a.m. because of immigration. Because we didn't do it the day before because we checked in
at 9 p.m. Had we known we could come aboard earlier, we would have checked in earlier and been through immigration that first day and be done with it.
Yes, they said that immigration had closed by the time we boarded, and we should have boarded earlier.
Yes.
But they told us not to board till that time, so it was very confusing.
The next morning, the day that the ship leaves port, that morning we had to come down to get our passports, or so we thought.
We came down to the reception desk, and they marked us off a list, and they said you have to go to the terminal with this other crew member.
You have to go to the reception first.
We did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the ball of the crap.
Okay, so you're fine. Just checking.
You have money?
No, I have nothing.
So we can't even get razors for you.
Today they have to drive us on this bus back to the terminal to go through immigration.
There were a lot of people, a big group of people, and they said to follow them. So we went to follow them, but they disappeared in the crowd because hundreds of people were getting off the cruise ship at that time.
They were getting off to go back into Buenos Aires to, check it out, while our group, which was going back just to go through immigration, got mixed up with them and we got separated from the group. And no one really kept track of us.
No, they didn't. So we got to the terminal and we didn't know what to do. So we went to the information desk and asked them where immigration was.
We are now in the terminal. We have no idea where to go. We have had no guides that just put us on a bus, sent us back to the terminal, said you got to go to immigration. Nobody informed us of this in advance. Nobody is telling us where to go.
They didn't tell us really where it was. They just called to immigration and asked if they had our passports.
And immigration said, no, the passports are back on the ship. This is really stressful.
So we had to go back to the ship.
And now we're heading back to the ship. So nobody communicates anything. They send us every which way. So this is not the way to start a vacation or a cruise. Heading back out again. Now we're on a bus heading back to the ship.
And remember, this is a long bus ride to get to and from the ship. It took us 20 minutes at
20
least
minutes, I
each
timed
way.
it.
20 minutes each way. So we went back to the ship and spoke to the woman that had checked us off. And she escorted us back to the terminal.
Second time back to the port.
We had to go upstairs to immigration, and they don't just let you up there without an escort from the cruise ship.
And we met our escort we were supposed to be with once we got up to immigration. Then they led us to a place where they stamped our passports. And then we discovered we didn't get our passports back.
They had kept the passports, they said, and they would give us back to us before we got to Brazil. Anyway, it was very hectic and very confusing. And a lot of it could have been taken care of if they had communicated to us better. I know they have almost 4,000 people on this ship, but they did know we were taking this cruise. I booked it months in advance. And so communication from MSC is not the best.
Now, we're not ready to write MSC off for that. We are talking about taking the MSC Caribbean cruise.
Leaving from a U.S. port. See what the difference is catering to the U.S. clientele.
The bottom line is it all comes down to communication. In MSC's defense, this was an international cruise. Whenever there were announcements, they were first made in Spanish because the cruise embarked from Buenos Aires, then Portuguese because the cruise ended in Rio de Janeiro, then Italian because MSC is based in Italy, then French, German, and finally English. With that much going on, it's easy to miss a few things. Still, it would have been nice to know in advance that we could have boarded the ship the previous day before immigration closed and avoided an unwanted 3-hour adventure the next morning.
And now we're going to say some good things. The ship is absolutely gorgeous. Our cabin is very big. The crew and staff have been very nice.
It's been lovely. Announcer coming. We'll stop.
Now hold on, if you're a fan of MSC, there were many more things we liked about this cruise, our favorite things being the ports of call, and we're going to cover those things in a future video. And as we said, we are going to give MSC another shot down the road, so we remain optimistic that this was an isolated occurrence. In the meantime,
You can always go to Facebook and follow us at YAH Adventures, Y-A-H Adventures, or you can go to Instagram and follow us at Matt and Laurin. Also, be sure to visit our website, which is yahadventures.com. Thank you for watching.
See you soon.
Thank you.